Hey guys, welcome to HRG Zone YouTube channel. And today I am gonna show you the top 10 best AAA PC games 2023. So sit back and relax. Starting off number 10. Assassin's Creed Mirage is an action-adventure stealth game intended to be reminiscent of older Assassin's Creed titles, being more linear and story-focused and reducing the number of role-playing elements present in recent installments of the series. Parkour, close-quarter combat, and stealth are core elements of the gameplay. The game is set principally in the city of Baghdad, which is divided into 4 districts: the Round City, Kark, Abbasiyah with its House of Wisdom, and Harbiya, but also features several smaller towns like Anbar, located on the outskirts of the city. The main character, Basim, has a large arsenal of weapons and tools at his disposal, including the signature assassin hidden blade, smoke bombs, throwing knives, and poison darts. Both weapons and tools can be upgraded through a skill tree which allows different effects to be applied to them. The game was released on October 5, 2023. Number 9 is The Last of Us Part 1, an action-adventure game played from a third-person perspective. The player traverses post-apocalyptic environments to advance the story, and uses firearms, improvised weapons, hand-to-hand combat, and stealth to defend against hostile humans and cannibalistic creatures known as the Infected, who have been infected by a mutated strain of the cordyceps fungus. For most of the game, player character Joel escorts a young girl, Ellie, across the United States. The player controls Ellie throughout the winter segment, and briefly controls Joel's daughter Sarah in the opening sequence. In the included expansion The Last of Us, Left Behind, the player controls Ellie as she spends time with her best friend and love interest Riley Abel. The game was released on March 28, 2023. Number 8 is Dead Island 2 is an action role-playing game played from a first-person perspective. Dead Island 2 takes place in Los Angeles in the midst of a zombie apocalypse. At the beginning of the game, players have to select from one of 6 playable characters as their player avatar called a Slayer. Each of them has their own unique skills and abilities. They also have to choose from one of 2 defensive abilities, either learning to block hostile attacks, or dodge them. The game's world is divided into 10 different zones. While the player can freely explore each zone, they must travel between different zones through zone exits. As the player progresses in the game, they will also unlock fast travel points, allowing them to travel to different locations quickly. The game was released on April 21, 2023. Number 7 is God of War is a third-person action-adventure video game. The player controls the character Kratos in combo-based combat and puzzle game elements. The gameplay is vastly different from previous games, as it was completely rebuilt. A major change is that Kratos no longer uses his signature double-chained blades, the Blades of Chaos, as his default weapon. Instead, he uses a magical battle axe, called the Leviathan Axe, which is infused with ice elemental magic. The axe can be thrown at enemies and magically summoned back to his hand, similar to Thor's hammer Mjolnir. Larger enemies have precision targets, and throwing the axe at those targets stuns the enemy. The weapon can also be thrown at environmental objects to trigger a damaging explosion. It can freeze objects and some enemies in place for puzzle solving until the axe is summoned back to Kratos' hand. The axe has standard light and heavy attacks. The game was released on January 14, 2022. Number 6 is Uncharted 4, A Thief's End is an action-adventure game played from a third-person perspective, with platforming elements. Players traverse several environments, moving through locations including towns, buildings, and wilderness to advance through the game's story. Players use firearms, melee combat, and stealth to combat hostile enemies. For most of the game, players control Nathan Drake, a treasure hunter who is physically adept and can jump, sprint, climb, swim, scale narrow ledges and walls, swing with a rope, use a grappling hook and perform other acrobatic actions. Players also drive vehicles during some gameplay segments. Players can use long-ranged weapons, such as rifles and shotguns, and short-barreled guns such as pistols and revolvers. Handheld explosives such as grenades and dynamite are also available. The game was released on October 19, 2022. Number 5 is Forza Horizon 5 is a racing video game set in an open-world environment based in a fictional representation of Mexico. The map was described by creative director Mike Brown as one of the most diverse Forza Horizon maps the team has built. The map contains an active caldera volcano, jungles and beaches, ancient Mayan temples, and towns and cities such as Guanajuato. Players can explore the open world freely, though they can also compete in multiplayer races and complete the campaign mode. Both the cars featured in the game and the player character can be extensively customized. Players are able to create custom liveries and tunes for cars, and perform engine swaps, drivetrain swaps, or install body kits on certain vehicles. The game was released on November 9, 2021. Number 4 is Mortal Kombat 11 is a fighting game. Alongside the returning fatalities, brutalities, stage fatalities, friendships and quitalities, new gameplay features are introduced, such as fatal blows and crushing blows. Like X-ray moves, fatal blows deal a large amount of damage, but unlike them, they only become available when a player's health drops below 30%, and can only be performed once per match. Crushing blows are a critical hit variation of a given special move or combination, triggered when certain requirements are met and cause deadly effect by showing graphic body injuries and draining at most times 30% health in a single hit. New to the series is a flawless block mechanic, which allows for a comeback window after blocking an attack with precise timing. The game was released on April 23, 2019. Number 3 is Cyberpunk 2077 is an action role-playing game played from a first-person perspective as V, a mercenary whose voice, face, hairstyle, body type and modifications, background, and clothing are customizable. Stat categories, body, intelligence, reflexes, technical, and cool, are influenced by the character classes that players assume, which are Netrunner, Hacking, Techie, Machinery, and Solo, Combat. V must consult a Ripper Doc to upgrade and purchase cyberware implants. Black markets offer military-grade abilities. The rarity of any given equipment is shown by a colored tier system. V can take cover, aim, run, jump, double jump, and slide. Melee strikes can be dealt with close combat weapons. The game was released on December 10, 2020. Number 2 is Microsoft Flight Simulator has a tutorial segment divided into sequences that allow players new to flight, or to the simulation, to learn the basic controls, the flight instruments, and other topics deemed essential for them to know before flying. It ends with a takeoff and landing test. Throughout the tutorial, fictional pilot Captain Jess Molina assists players. It offers landing challenges at some of the most famous and dangerous airports, and the player is graded based on how close to the center of the runway you land, how long it takes your plane to come to a full stop, and the touchdown smoothness. Another gameplay mode features 3 sightseeing bush trips set in Nevada, Patagonia, and the Balkans. The game was released on August 18, 2020. And number 1 is Call of Duty: Black Ops Cold War is a first-person shooter video game. Call of Duty: Black Ops Cold War campaign allows players to assume a custom character, codenamed Bell, with the ability to choose their intelligence agency, skin tone, nationality, and gender, as well as different personality traits that provide in-game perks. Campaign features multiple endings, dependent on player choice throughout the campaign. The game was released on November 13, 2020. So that's all, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, so please like this video and subscribe my channel, and don't forget to notifications. So thanks again, and see you soon on next video. And good, bye.